Greetings everyone. Today we're going to explore writing a linear equation from a graph, but this time in point-slope form. Key thing here is going to be, as always, counting out what your slope is, your rise over your run, and using one point to fill in the point-slope form. Now here's our notes. If we're in class, you might have a foldable. If we're not in class, you'll want to just pause this video and add these to your notebook, please. All right, so let's fill in the blank. Point-slope form from a graph. As I mentioned, the first thing you want to do is to identify the slope, or your m value. We're going to go back and forth between calling it slope and m. Next, you need to identify a point. Now, this could be any point, any x, y value from the graph. There might be multiple points, so here's what's cool, is if I ask you to write the equation and there's multiple points, I have to go in and see if all of you have different answers, and you could all be right. Lastly, we're going to substitute the slope and the point into the point-slope formula. And what we have to remember is when we plug in that xy into the formula, remember it looks like this, just a quick review. Remember that we have to change the signs of our point. Okay, we've got to keep working on that. So let's look at this example. Now if you have a foldable, great, you've got the graph. If you do not have a foldable and you're just adding this to your notes, all I would write down is ex1, and then I'd identify the m and the point. You can always look back here for the graph if you need to refer back. So first step, let's identify our slope. So my line is decreasing, it's going down, so it's for sure negative. All right, we always go rise over run. I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's a -4, and I'm running to the right positively, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a run of 5, okay? Oops, I don't think my graph showed, there we go. Then we need to identify a point. So here's where you get to choose. We have this dot here, which is 0, 3. We have this dot here, which is 5, -1. And I don't see any other clear dots on this graph for sure. If you're given a dot, use it. But you could technically use any perfect intersection. So I'm actually going to use both dots. I'm going to show you two different answers, and I'd be open to either. So the first option would be when I write my equation, I'm going to have a y equals parentheses with an x. The slope always goes in front of the x. And the first point is 0, 3. That means I'm adding or subtracting 0 from the x, and I'm going to minus 3 from the y. So notice minus, you got to change the sign. But if you wrote the other answer, it would also be correct. Let's go again. Same slope, that doesn't change. But now let's use the green point that I identified. The x is 5, but I got to change the sign. The y is -1, but I got to change the sign. So both are correct answers. All right, let's take a look at this one. First, I want to identify my slope. So if I count rise 2, run 1, 2, 3, it's positive. I can't reduce it, so that's my slope. Points. I see the point 1, 4. I'm going to call that the blue dot. And I see the point -2, 2. I'm going to call that the green dot. So using either point, you're going to write an equation. I'm open to both answers, so I'm going to write 2 of them. You don't have to, but I just want you to know you might have a different answer than me or a friend, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong. So first, your slope always goes in front of your x. Now if I use the blue dot first, the x is 1, but I got to change the sign. The y is 4, but I got to change the sign. Let's look at the green dot. The x is -2, but I got to change the sign. The y is +2, but I got to change the sign. Okay, that special rule of changing the sign, we could get into that in another video, but for right now, just remember, change the x sign, change the y sign. Ooh, look at this unique one, you guys. What is the slope of this line? I'm not rising at all. So if I'm talking rise over run, it's 0 over, I don't know, 1 or 2 or 3. Either way, it's okay. It's 0. So we have some options. Look at how many dots we have. We have this green one. Whoops, sorry, my pen went a little crazy there. We have this blue one. We have this purple one. They're all perfect intersections. We have this dark blue one. You guys could write all a different equation and still be right. So this one's sort of unique. I'm open to your answers here. So if we use the typical sort of template, if you will, the outline for point slope form, the slope always goes in front of the x. And let's say I start with the green dot. The green dot is at 0, -2. So I would add 0 to the x, and I would add 2 to the y, because remember, we got to change that sign. But then you could also write it another way. Keep the 0, that's still your slope no matter what, but now let's say we use the dark blue dot. That would be x -3, because this point is 3, -2, and it'd be y +2. Now here's where I'm open, okay? If it's multiple choice, you want to look for that 0. But you guys, you could technically just write it as y equals -2. Every horizontal line slices the y-axis at a certain number. So if you are handwriting your own answer, I would also accept that. Ooh, a vertical line. This is unique, you guys. Tell me about the slope of a vertical line. Remember my analogy? Can you walk straight up a wall? Nope. This slope is undefined. We do not write equations that have the word undefined in them. So this can only still be written one way. It's a vertical line that slices the x-axis at 5. This is the only option. So vertical lines are always unique and always written one way, no matter what kind of question I ask. That's the only way you can write it. All right, I wanted to throw this example up here because you'll notice there's no dots. So in this case, you're going to have some of these. You have to look for your dots. So I see a perfect intersection here at 5, -2. Let's look for another dot. On this line, I see a dot here. This would be at 6, 2. On the other line, let's see. I see an intersection here at 2, 0. And I see another intersection at -1, 2. So I have lots of options. It depends on the line. So let's say I'm talking about, I'm going to call this the red line first, okay? I'm going to set up my equation because it says a point and a slope. Let's count our slope from the purple to the green. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4, run 1. So my m is 4 because 4 over 1 is 4. Let's say I use the purple dot. My x number is +5, change the sign. My y value is -2, change the sign. But here's the thing. For that red line, you could use the green dot. So it'd be the same slope, but for the green dot, my x number is 6, but I gotta change the sign. My y number is 2, but I gotta change the sign. Let's talk about this other line. Let's see, what color haven't I used here? Let's call this the orange line. Okay, for the orange line, I've got 3 dots, you guys. I won't do all 3, but you get the point. You could use all 3. Let's count my slope first. Down 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3. It's a negative line. So that slope is negative 2/3. Negative 2/3. Okay. Let's say I use that light green dot. Its x value is -1. I'm going to make it +1. The y value is 2. So I write -2. Let's say I use the blue dot. Its x number is +2. Make it negative. Its y value is 0, and 0 is special. You can choose either sign. All right, so there is our information on how to write in point slope form from a graph, okay? So first, make sure you check Google Classroom. Is there anything that you need to work on, complete, finish? As always, check out PowerSchool. How are your grades? What do you need to catch up on? What do you need? If you have questions, please reach out to me. Let me know, okay? And until next time, have a good one. Hey guys, this video is from 2020, which means you're watching this at home. And if you're still watching, kudos to you for watching the whole video. So I wanted to do something special. The first 5 people to email me with their mailing address and the code word Backstreet Boys might expect something in the mail. Take care.